Hello and welcome to this live UniCourse session, and it is on the introduction to our new Career Hub page. The new Career Hub course, I will wait a couple of minutes just in case we have any more attendees. If you can just be patient with me. Thank you. Hello, my name is Ashley Lloyd. I will be hosting this live session today. This live session is on our new free secondary course, and it's an introduction to that course, Career Hub. So welcome. I do apologise. So let's get started on the introduction to our new Career Hub course. This course has been developed to provide information, advice, resources, templates, basically tools for those who are wanting to take the next step in their career. By completing the primary course that you have all been enrolled on, you're already taking that first step. The main aim is to provide you with the tools to be able to confidently take that next step, whether that's the next step within your current organisation or whether externally exploring for new job opportunities. And, the course itself can be accessed by all existing learners, and you can access it 3 months after completion of the course. It is a self-directed course. And it's about forward thinking, it's about future planning, and it's about wanting to see, what motivates you and what skills you may need to adapt or, work on to be able to take that next step. So the question that you want to ask yourself is, have you given your career any thought recently? Now, most people who are undergoing a qualification with us will have units within their current qualification that will ask these questions and will ask you to reflect upon yourself. But you've got to ask yourself this question: have you given your career any thought? Where would you like to be in the next, couple of years? So moving forwards, let's talk about the advice that we have for you. As I said, my name is Ashley Lloyd and I'm the ILM Programme Manager here at UniCourse, and I'm a career advisor also at UniCourse. What we want to offer you is the opportunity to be able to speak to a career advisor, to be able to reflect upon maybe your CV or the job opportunities that are available to you. There's a number of students who have contacted us when they've been, made redundant, and they're just trying to think about, well, what is the next step going to be? The course is self-directed, and it's up to you to access what parts of that course that you want to access. If you feel like you may need some help on developing your CV, you may want to access that area. If you think that you need a little bit more help with self-awareness, then there's areas that you can look at for that. And if you want to help with forward planning, then you can work on that as well. So what are the key skills that we want you to achieve from this course? What do we want you to master? We want you to be able to look at reflecting upon your strengths and your weaknesses and working on ways to build on them. We want you to be able to create an impressive CV that you're confident to put forward. We also want you to be able to consider how you can make yourself stand out further by creating a cover letter that's tailored specifically to the needs of the employer, and that can coincide with the job description. We'll talk about that in a little bit more detail in a second. We also want you to be able to be ready and be able to prepare yourself fully for an interview, and we have videos and tools that we can help you to do that as well. And we want you to be able to also look at different options in your career, and how to explore them fully, and also be able to plan for the future by creating a career to-do list. So within Moodle, there are a number of tiles and a number of sections that have been broken up in this specific way. So we do have the introduction, which will basically outline, what we want to achieve by creating this course and how we've developed it to be able to help you. We also have self-assessments, and we have a range of that. And we have the job description and cover letter guidance. We have a professional development toolkit, career development options section, and the interview skills section as well. We also have included some of our success stories, or a link to our page that shows you about our success stories and relevant articles that are useful in career development. We are looking at also working with some of the contractors that we have on programme to provide job advertisements as well. But there's plenty more to come, and I'll come to that at the end. So self-reflection, why is it important? First and foremost, someone that is self-aware and has full scope of their own achievements and their own strengths, skills, attributes, can be quite attractive to an employer. Somebody who was honest in the reflection to say, well, maybe I'm not that good at this, that, or the other, but I'm working on improving it. That's also attractive to an employer. But also being able to understand yourself fully is essential in professional development. And we have included in our self-assessment section 5 areas, but you could say we've included 10 areas, because collaborative leadership actually has 5 separate assessments within it. But first and foremost, time management for a work and professional time management is essential. So we give you a self-assessment form, a questionnaire to be able to complete, so you can review and reflect upon how well you're managing your time. Because wasted time isn't effective, and if you're not utilizing your time effectively, how are you going to find time to develop yourself and to improve in your career? So that I believe is a really, really important self-assessment tool to work on as a starting point. We also have some personality tests there and leadership style questionnaires, and also looking at yourself and how effective you communicate, not just with your colleagues, but your managers, maybe the people that you're leading as well. It is really important to be able to look at how you communicate and how that communication can be improved. So let's move on to the different sections now. I'm going to start by talking about the job description and cover letter guidance. Now, This section has been designed to help you with writing cover letters that can work alongside your CV when applying for jobs. So research has shown that using the job description and the personal specification to reflect upon your achievements and experience will help you to stand out and, you know, demonstrate to the employer that that you can go that one step further as well. Research has shown that people that provide a cover letter alongside a CV demonstrate that they will go above and beyond to demonstrate how well they fit that role. So that's why we've created this section. We've included in this section a small exercise that will allow you to be able to reflect upon the job descriptions, and we've provided a number of examples there to then create a cover letter to coincide. So what we've done is we've provided colour-coded basic specific areas where you can then look at the job description and consider, okay, well, what experience do I have in that area? What skills, what attributes, and maybe what ways you can demonstrate that by providing past examples. And that doesn't even necessarily need to be in relation to a past work and role. You know, if you're completely new to the job force, that could be, you know, demonstrating that role by how you've worked academically, or, you know, how maybe your extra, you know, curriculum activities, such as, you know, you may coach or manage a football team. Now that demonstrates skill, that demonstrates really good organisation skills, and that you know, you can be assertive and you can manage your time effectively, and that you're determined to get something done or to organise something well. So it doesn't necessarily need, when you're writing a cover letter, to just be talking about your past role. It could be talking about any experience that you have that could demonstrate that you will be good for this role. So it asks you in this task to choose a job description from the examples. Now, if you're looking for a job and you're about to apply for a job, you could use that job description and then use you could use the guidance to then be able to write your own cover letter. Now, we do have a section on here that you can request some feedback from a career advisor. So if you've completed the tasks within, or if you have written your own cover letter based on a job description, you can request some feedback there as well. But this one does ask you to write a cover letter and be sure to reference back to the job description from the examples. But again, we're here to help you as much as we can career-wise. So if you're currently looking at job descriptions and considering how you can write that cover letter, it may be useful to complete one or two of the tasks, get some feedback, and then maybe speak to the career advisor about getting feedback on the cover letter that you are going to actually submit with your CV. So always bear in mind that a well-written cover letter will be customised to reflect the job description, sometimes the personal specification as well. And use this to fully sell yourself. You know, you've got your personal statement or your personal profile within your CV. And, you know, that is a really good first point selling tool for you. You know, you can really highlight your unique selling points there and your skills and your attributes, but also talk about the transferable skills that you've had from you know, your past experience in work or outside of work here, and utilise this cover letter for that. So the format of the design for this Moodle platform is that we are looking at within each section to teach you some sort of knowledge or information that you can digest, so that you can then learn something from that specific section of the Moodle category, and then you can assess, so you can self-assess, or you can submit a request for a careers advisor to assess your understanding on that area. But it's mostly for you then to be able to make a judgment on. So that's the format that we've been looking at. So there might be some exercises or activities or tools or templates for you to be able to fill out and complete. But it's for you to be able to understand the information and the knowledge that is in that section for you to then be able to move forwards with it. Okay, so the personal development toolkit has been designed to allow you to forward think, to future plan. So you may be good at reflecting on yourself. You may find yourself good at achieving personal goals, but maybe not that good at achieving, your professional goals or workplace goals. And research has shown over many years that successful people reach the goals, not because of who they are or the personalities, but what they actually do to achieve them goals. Now, the resources, the templates, the activities within this section will all help you to plan and actually action tasks or objectives to improve on your performance. So firstly, it's essential to be specific when you set your goals. Now, anyone who's completed a leadership and management course with myself will know what a SMART target is, but making sure that each target that you set yourself is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound will allow you to know exactly what you want to achieve and how you can go about ticking them tasks off as completed. So that example would be if you want to say, I want to be better at computers, that's quite vague. But if you say, I'm going to work on spreadsheets or Excel and improve by the end of the year, that's a little bit more specific. You may even go that one step further and say, I'm going to complete a short online course to improve my spreadsheet or my Excel. But by the end of June, that's even more specific, and you can easily tick that off, and it can be measured by probably an online certificate or some sort of approval of completion as well. So making sure that you can be specific as you can in any sort of action point within that development plan. But what we've done in that template is we've provided you with ways that you can break down how to go about setting them actions. So there's a description of how to use a personal development plan, and there's also a personal SWOT analysis, which looks at your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. Now, some people find it really difficult to reflect upon themselves, and sometimes it's good to get feedback from others. Even, link the SWOT analysis with maybe a performance review or an appraisal that you've had recently, because other people might see your weaknesses that you don't see. So it might say that maybe your timekeeping is a weakness, or your communication skills. And then you can think about, well, what opportunities are there to allow me to improve on this area? Or, what threats might get in the way. And usually one of the main threats is, time. And it's having that time to be able to plan for improvements. So acting upon your objectives is it's hard, because change is never easy. And making sure you allocate time for improvement is also quite important. And being able to tick off. That's why I think these plans are important in professional development. And anyone working in a specialised professional field will usually have a continuous development plan. So it's something that's always updated. And, that can be updated with industry specific, qualifications such as, maybe first aid or health and safety. It could be updated with, something that you need to complete, like say data protection training every year or something. And I've even had people who have included things like, I really would like to pass my driving test, because, one of the downsides or one of the bad points in professional review by their employer was that the timekeeping wasn't good. So they put in their continuous development plan. I'm going to complete 10 lessons in the next year and pass my driving test by this time. So, you can also add, personal development steps as well as your professional ones, because, any personal development, always works towards your professional development as well. And, being optimistic and also realistic is really important here, but also having a positive mind when you're setting any sort of direction. We do also have a reflective log. Now, this is something in teaching that we were, we were told to do from the first day of learning how to be a teacher, in university or in any profession, really. Doctors will usually keep a reflective log, and, anyone can keep a reflective log and look at steps such as, well, what have I got from this training? And how is this going to improve my practice in the future? Did you enjoy it? Would you like to delve a little bit deeper into that area? So it's a really, really good tool for you to be able to reflect upon, especially if you're not 100% sure on what your career aspirations are, because you may be able to look at, you may have been to a training session, or you may have, went to work in another department and thought, oh, well, that looks quite interesting. Well, if you noted that down and you reflect upon it every couple of months, you might decide that maybe a slight career change might be, useful to you, or might be something that you might want to look at in the future. So that's the professional development toolkit. And, we have many of different resources on this section. This is just a small number of them. But we will be looking to, add or maybe change up, or if anybody does want any further information on developing themselves or putting together a personal development plan, they can contact a career advisor at UniCourse, and we will be able to help you to, make sure them actions are smart, and make sure that that they are going to be able to be measured and monitored consistently, either by yourself or by, your line manager. So have a little look at all of the areas on here. And if you do need any assistance on setting them objectives, once you've set a couple of smart targets, you understand the process of how to set them. Okay, so the next section I'm going to talk about is the career development options. Now, this section focuses firstly on your CV. So there's a bit of a description on the importance of the CV. Think about how many of us have updated the CV recently with any sort of achievements or any skills that you've learned that can be transferable through many different job opportunities. Some people don't even update the CV before they apply for a new job, which, is a bit of a schoolboy error, because, making sure that it's completely up to date, it's probably one of the first things an employer looks at when they look at the CV. Have they taken time to, make sure that this is catered to this actual job role? And that's more so pointed out through the personal statement. But, your skills can be adapted and changed through the responsibilities that you've had in any role that you've done, and they can, be reflected upon. And you can look at the job description, you can think, well, maybe if I add this skill, which I've, gained through this responsibility, that might be more, attractive to the prospective employer. So you're looking at how your CV stands out. Again, it's a unique, opportunity for you to sell yourself, for you to be able to, stand out from the crowd. And, the CV is one of the first things that they look at. The next section, career exploration, it allows us to understand the internal and external options available, but from like an employer's perspective as well. So look at, the benefits, the pros and the cons of employer and promoting maybe internally or hiring externally. Now, the research has shown, I mean, this isn't up-to-date information. I last looked this up a couple of months ago, but research has shown that it costs around £5,000 to hire an employee externally, considering, how they recruit, how they advertise for the job, how they interview, the induction period, the training process, the people that need to take the time out of their day to, get that person up to standard. It costs a lot of money. So a lot of employers, if they've got somebody in-house that is enthusiastic and can show the determination to upskill and develop themselves to, get to a specific role, if it's like more of a senior management role, for example, then they probably rather take up that option. But it breaks that down for you, and the different ways that the employer looks at it, the process of internal and external hiring as well. And the career exploration options is a PowerPoint, but it asks a number of questions, and it allows you to be able to reflect upon how you are exploring career options. So, for example, if, I was looking for a job, I would, if I was to be looking on a popular, the job advertisement website, for example, and I was to add, ILM tutor, is that going to be searching the fields as much as possible? If I was to put ILM assessor, or if I was to put business and management tutor, or if I was to put career advisor, or a teacher of leadership and management, even things like, using different focus words to search for jobs is something that people don't really think about. Different organizations use different job titles for similar roles. So that's one of the areas within this PowerPoint, but there's a number of other areas for you to look at as well. So, have a little look at that. And for most, it has opened their eyes to different career exploration options. Also focusing on, not just how, how you, or what way you're exploring them, but how you're exploring them as well. So, more often than not now, LinkedIn is a big, it's a big way to be able to advertise yourself. It's a large professional network. You have also sites such as CV Library, where you don't necessarily need to search for jobs. You can add your CV onto there and people will find you. And then, you've got a number of other different ways that you can have a little look around for jobs. It doesn't necessarily need to be just going on to Total Jobs and hoping that you find the job there. So yeah, that's what it allows you to look at and reflect upon within this section. The next section is about interview skills and looking at, the do's and don'ts when, going in for an interview. We've got a PDF form here that asks a lot of questions and looks at, what are the good ways and the bad ways that you can answer the questions that are asked to you within an interview. But we also have a mock video on this section, which will allow you to compare the good and the bad responses. So it may be useful for you to, look at the PDF, have a little read through, think about the different responses and maybe how you've responded in the past. And then maybe look at the video and think about then maybe how would I respond in the future. And this doesn't necessarily just mean about, when you're going for a new job in a new company. This often is the case. You will have to undergo an interview in the current organization that you're in. If you're going for a senior management role, for example, and there might be a couple of people going in for it at the same time. So it's important to be able to be confident within that interview. So hopefully this section will open your eyes to different responses and how the employer will look and will look at the different responses in positive and negative ways. We've also included, as mentioned earlier, a link to our success stories, as this will allow you to see how through individual development you can achieve anything really, or your aspirations professionally and personally. Now, a number of people that sign up to the primary courses, whether they're engineering, business, management, leadership, whatever course that you've signed up for, you're already on the road to wanting to improve yourself professionally. And there's quite a lot of success stories for people that have learned more than they thought that they would from the primary course that they're being completing. But through completing this course, you can look at and develop an understanding of areas that you'd like to develop further, and it might break down a little bit more through the self-assessments, what you can improve on to be able to move forward. So in the second stage of our development of this programme, we have a number of things, a number of areas that we are planning. First and foremost, which might be quite attractive to our existing learners, is that we are looking at providing everyone who completes the course with an endorsed certificate by UniCourse. So this will be an e-certificate, that you can add to your CV that you've completed a career development course, and it may be useful for you when moving on to the next role that you're going to be going on to in the future. We're also going to be, in the interview skills section, be adding a number of aptitude tests, as we're fully aware that within the working environment and the competitive working environment, as that people are looking at different ways to be able to assess candidates and checking that they've got all the skills necessary to be able to take up the role that they want. So we're looking at putting a number of different aptitude tests in there. We're also going to be including a course evaluation survey. This is for us really to be able to make improvements based on feedback. This is a new course and we want to be the best that it can be. So any feedback that we can get from our learners, is always, always, always needed and always wanted. And we will, always be appreciative of any feedback so we can make the course better. We've also got a newsroom included in the course, and it's always being updated with relevant articles relating to careers, but we'll always be adding more articles to that. And if we can, we might even be considering looking at different podcasts that might be relevant as well to the careers area. The last section, we are working closely and really trying to push and develop relationships with our current contractors to be able to look at how we can help them. So a number of our contractors have maybe 15 students on program with us, and they may be needing people for specific job roles, and we want to be able to help them with that. So in the next couple of months, we've got some interviews. We've got some meetings, and we've got some good prospects to be able to look at adding job adverts that will be added, updated regularly, and hopefully might be able to help a couple of our learners to move up in the career ladder as they wish. So that's the end of the presentation. I hope that I've been clear and allowed you to understand what we're trying to deliver here, and what we've designed, and how we're trying to help you to improve in your careers. We want to be able to offer you the best service possible. We want our service to be holistic. So not only are we allowing you to complete your qualification, but we want you to be able to develop in your career as well. We want you to know that we are here to support you through your careers and through the development of yourself. So if you do have any questions, I'm going to keep the session open for questions. I'll turn the camera and the sound off and just answer them in writing, but hopefully you'll be able to navigate your way through Moodle successfully, and any new and exciting news that we have for Career Hub, we will notify you through newsletters or announcements on Moodle, so keep an eye on that. And as I said, any feedback that you have on the course will be, really, really appreciative. And always remember that we do have careers advisors on hand now to help you with your career exploration and your career development options. So thank you for attending today, or watching if you're watching the recording, and thanks again.